Hi! Today I'm standing on ancient ground. This area is called Duncliffe. It's in North Dorset, not far from Shaftesbury where I live. And this is where the Vikings and the Saxons had a battle many years ago, right up on the top. And you can do the walk all the way through the woods. And the whole hill is covered in beautiful old oak trees and beech trees and ash, all sorts of different trees. And what I want to show you today is a wet and wet technique, showing you all the layers and different colours that autumn is producing. Yellow ochre again, my favourite, burnt sienna. I'm going to do a full colour technique. Do a full colour technique. Use that. So the colours that I'm going to use, I've squeezed them out on a porcelain plate. Just a cheap old plate, that's all you need. So we've got yellow ochre, we've got burnt sienna, we've got crimson lake and cobalt blue hue. These colours are a lovely combination of colours to use for your autumn shades. I'm going to use my Chinese hake, which is quite a small hake because I forgot to bring the bigger one out. And then I've got my Chinese bamboo brush. And then a stiffer brush. I might use this for something, for etching. This is hog's hair, which is really good actually for moving the paint around. So you've got a soft brush, a stiff brush, and then a nice flat brush to put the washes on. On this area of the hill, but you don't do the hill first, you do your washes first. What I am going to definitely do is invest in a new easel. So again, my favourite colours, wet and wet, yellow ochre, just slosh it on. Obviously the strength of the yellow I shall be using more lower down. Okay. What I always tend to do is put my warm glowy colours on first, just to get a feel of it. And then you've got this amazing blue coming into it. So I'm going to scrub it on with my hake. Okay, and then you've got this powerful cloud looming over the top of the hill. Okay, let's get a little bit on there. Scrub that on. There's a little bit coming down. Okay, and what I mean by a waterfall wash is, yes, you're letting everything cascade down. This is going to have a very contemporary feel. You have to really control it when you're working wet and wet. It is the hardest technique in watercolour to do. Okay, so now I've mixed yellow ochre, a little bit of crimson into the blue. Might even put a little bit of burnt sienna. So this cloud that's forming across the top of Duncliffe, it's sort of sweeping across, is really earthy, sort of greys, purpley almost, coming through, and chocolatey. So I'm just going to let that come down. Okay, so all you're going to get is the top of the hill below. I'm not going to worry about the base too much. Or again, I'm just focusing on this lovely sky. What I might do is just go back to that blue again. I just want to get, because it's such a beautiful cobalt blue. And I'm just going to go back over again. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going back over my sky just to inject a little bit more strength over it. So again, use a nice flat brush. And sweep it on and let it cascade across the pigments that you've put on. Okay, and I'm going to scrub. You can almost create sort of little cloud formations as you scrub. Sometimes it's really nice to have this strength of the blue at the top, and then it gets paler as it cascades down. Just let it do its thing almost, because that's what watercolour does. Okay, and there's just a little hint coming in there, a little bit in there. Just let that come down, because it's almost like a massive rain cloud anyway. And the cloud, when you look at the cloud, it feathers underneath. You know, it's got all this lovely fringing, like when you get some sort of torn piece of material or fabric. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to change my water. Got it off. Good. I'll have to go back over that cloud again. Cloud. A bit more. You see how I'm not scared about mixing 3 colours together? You get so many interesting colours by doing that, as long as it doesn't get too mucky. Okay, and again I'm going to dab it. You see what I'm doing? Dabbing it, just like an oil painter would, and then scrubbing. Can you see that? Okay, dabbing. Dabbing again, kind of scrubbing. And then with my stiff brush, and this is a Terry Harrison brush, just going to just sort of rub that in a bit there. And you see how you can make a harsh line, you can soften it with a stiff brush. Really good for that. I'm just going to just slightly buff that up, just slightly, with the softer brush. Softer brushes you can use for just gently touching the paper. I'm trying to interpret it a bit stronger than it is, because it will be soon. That's what I forgot, was my stippling brush. It doesn't matter. So what I'm doing is just creating a little bit of height to the top. So you've got these lovely little points where you've got a few like little pines sticking up. I'm doing this in a very contemporary, very loose way. It's all about patterns and shapes. It's not about a perfection. Because we're painting outside. I'm going to try and get some, oh, that's the colour I want. Some pinks coming through. And I'm just going to, again, with this waterfall technique, just let it run down. What I'm going to do is just slightly again buff up just slightly with this to soften, only just slightly. I could do with another brush. I have now completed my painting. To be quite honest, it started off wonderful, and then I had a lot of interruptions and distractions. There was lots of people out walking their dogs and lots of people having a look, and it was really hard. I will probably end up cropping this, and I really like the top of the sky with the blue cascading down, but I'm really not happy with this area. It's a bit too turbulent. Okay, the clouds are pretty strong coming across this hill. You know, maybe I'm meant to go with those feelings and create these shapes and these cloud formations, because I became obsessed with it. Basically, this is a sky study more than anything. But what I will do is come back here again and study the trees up closer maybe, and the colours, and do a little area just a bit further over. So I'm pleased with the colours and the way they're cascading down. It's been really challenging because my easel it's very hard to paint on this easel. So I'm going to invest in a better easel. And that's why it's extremely important that all of you support me in what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you how beautiful it is to be in nature, but also not just to walk in nature, but you can create as well, because you're absorbing all these natural, beautiful colours. And I feel so good because the air is so pure and fresh here. Bye for now.